All right, Zach, it looks like we're live. A little surprise live.
I'm glad we're live.
Hey, it's good to have you here, Zach. It's good to see you. And we're happy to be here to help ring in the holiday season with our Sisu Nation. The man with the master plan, Zach Hammer, is here to help share 3 simple steps to generate referrals this holiday season and maybe kick off a little
Absolutely.
Sisu activity here in there. But Zach, how are you today? It's good to see you, my friend.
I am fantastic. I am jolly. I am I've got that holiday spirit ready to go. We This is one of my favorite times of the year, this whole period of the year. I love the holidays, and I love finding opportunities in the holidays to generate more business with real estate folks. So
Yep. Yeah. It's a great time of year. You get to wear great hats.
that's right.
Be cheerful and spend a lot of time with family and friends, I think, right? So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And compliments to you,
oh,
your sweater, your hat. I love the entire ensemble. It's wonderful, wonderful.
yep. It comes out once a year, got to use it well. Why not in front of our Sisu community? I'm a little self-deprecating for those that know me. I have no problem getting up and embarrassing myself. But the meat of this webinar is anything but embarrassing. It's some great content. Zach, you had some great ideas. And by the way, just a quick introduction. Zach Hammer is a partner of ours and the founder and owner of Real Estate Growth Hackers. So he's worked with a lot of real estate professionals over the years. I got to know you many years ago, at a previous gig, and it's funny how things work out, come full circle. We're working
Absolutely.
together again, and man, it's been a pleasure getting to work with you, Zach. So.
You as
Uh,
well. You as well, Mac. Always a pleasure.
So just a quick overview, y'all, of why we're going live today, what we're talking to you all about. Basically I teased it a little bit. The holiday season is a time when people start to come together, right? You've got people coming back from school, you've got everyone meeting up with their family, traveling. And with that in mind, it's a great time to generate referrals. But you need to have reasons to stay top of mind with these people, to have them talking about you and presenting you as a real estate professional, as the person that some of their friends and sphere can connect to. So Zach's laid out some incredible tactics to really get the most out of this holiday season in terms of generating new business, and maybe how to tie that into Sisu a little bit too. So, we'll get into that a little bit, but basically setting goals for outreach, creating that excuse for outreach, right? You can't just call someone and be like, hey, do you have any referrals that anyone you want to send me?
Right.
You could, but it may not go so well.
Right.
And then also, training your clients, your sphere, the people you've worked with, how to detect potential referral opportunities.
Right.
Not so much someone saying, I need a buy or sell, but other
Right.
maybe more subtle hints, that you'll speak to a little bit, Zach. And then something that I wanted to talk to as our director of community here at Sisu, we've attempted to put something together to share some gift giving with our clients. To this whole point, we want to provide a lot of value to you all in the hopes that maybe someone that could be a great fit for Sisu that maybe we should be talking to. And just as you all love and appreciate referrals in your business, that is a lifeblood to our business as well. So I'll explain a little bit about and what that's about, but we basically want to be showing a little love and gift giving to those that are potentially sending us some opportunities during this month of December. So
And I know, Mac is a gentleman, and definitely has to, mentally bring it down a little bit. But as the person who didn't put it together, I'm going to say, while Mac was sort of saying, we tried to put something. No, they did a fantastic job. This is an awesome thing that Mac put together that you guys should be really excited about. So we're going to be talking about that at the end, and telling you a bit more about kind of the inspiration for this webinar, in terms of what Sisu has in store with the 12 days of referrals. So I can be overzealously excited about it, and I will.
Yeah, and we appreciate that. The energy is top notch, Zach. And let's be real, there should be a 6 bullet point there.
Right.
Excuse to put on, tacky Christmas wear,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
get out there. So
I tried to source a sweater, but I didn't have time, unfortunately. So
that's
I got
okay.
the hat, and I got the Zoom background. We got you set up with the Zoom background. We are in the holiday spirit.
We're ready to rock and roll. But yeah, gang, as I said, it's a great time to be generating these referrals. People are together with their friends and family. They're around, kind of being your ears and eyes. So how do you tap into that opportunity with your sphere of influence a little bit better? Because you want to be top of mind. You want to be that person that if and when a relative or a friend starts asking questions related to real estate, because let's be real, we're all having conversations about real estate. It's an interesting time.
Right.
People want to speculate and talk a bit about it. So, how do you put yourself as the person that they're going to refer and recommend when these conversations happen?
Right. This is especially like when referrals tend to happen for people, is most often after somebody's had a conversation with a friend, a family member, and something about that conversation sparks the reason why they think that they need to refer that person to you. Right. Like that's the biggest impetus of it. And what's great about the holiday season is this is one of those times of year where people very consistently get together. They have parties, they have family reunions, they meet up with friends. It's a big time where people are connecting with other people and being in and amongst those conversations at a higher frequency than they normally are. And so if you do the work of setting yourself up to be top of mind, and again making sure they know how to detect a good referral, that's going to be game changer for you to be able to generate referrals during this time. Now there's a couple of points to how this works and how you need to set up those conversations, because like Mac alluded to earlier, most people aren't sitting there and in their discussions they're like, what I really need? I need an agent because I'm looking to buy a house. Right? Like people don't say that, right? They have other conversations. They talk about other things. And so what we want to do is we want to train people to recognize what are some of these signals that there's a good opportunity for a referral, and what does a good referral look like? Because we want to arm your clients, your friends, your family, with the knowledge of how to give you a good referral and what to be looking for to do so, and to make it very clear you are open, ready, and willing to receive those. Because if they don't think that, they won't send them, right? Referrals are largely a social exchange. The reason why people send referrals is mostly because it makes them look good in a social scenario, right? This is often a subconscious motivation, but it makes them look good when they connect somebody they know and love to a good service, solution, etc. But at the same time, they also need to make sure that that's going to go well. So they need to know you want that, right? And they need to know that you're okay with how that will go down. So that's what we're going to be covering, is sort of that whole process of diving into that. And this is just these ideas apply throughout the year. This is just one of those unique times of year where it's so prevalent that you find these conversations happening.
Yeah, that's a great point, Zach. It is more pertinent this time of year, but really these tactics can be applied, in different periods throughout the year. So.
Absolutely. And so this is essentially the 3 steps that we're going to be running through in terms of how to generate referrals this holiday season. So step 1 is going to be set activity goals for outreach in Sisu. We'll talk about why that's important, a little bit about how that happens. Step 2 is going to be creating an excuse for outreach, because again, You can't just call people up and be like, hey, got any referrals? Because it doesn't go over well. It doesn't result in a good exchange. And then step three, you want to actually help your clients detect good referrals and train them on how to do this in a cool, smart way that works really well for everybody. So we'll be diving into those step by step, giving you some scripts, giving you guys some ideas of what sort of activities you might be tracking, all that stuff. So Mac, what do you say? Why don't we dive into step one?
Let's do it. Let's rock and roll, Zach.
All right. So step one here is really where Sisu shines, right? So in order to get good results in something like this, you want to make sure that you have a plan of action, that you're setting goals, that you're measuring your progress, that you're tracking your progress, right? So you want to make sure that you have set up within Sisu your goals for making these kinds of connections. And most importantly, and this is such a great reason for why we're doing this now, the 1st of December, rather than doing this later on in the month, for instance, you want to do this sooner rather than later, right? Because these parties, these things where people are going to be connecting are going to start happening soon. So you want to make these outreaches. You want to start making these calls as soon as possible so that when those parties happen, you've done the work to be top of mind. Okay, so that's an important point here. So in terms of what type of outreach you're looking to do, you want to be directly connecting if at all possible. A phone call is ideal because of what that allows you to do in terms of flowing through this process. But you can trigger these sorts of conversations and these connections through sending SMS messages, sending emails that prompt a response, potentially even sending social messages or commenting on Facebook posts, that sort of thing. The idea here is that you're looking to engage with people and drive them into a conversation if at all possible. The simplest, most obvious way is definitely the phone calls. So leverage that. Set your phone call outreach plan, and then your goal here is that you want to track the results of that. So track the connections made, track your conversations had, and then ultimately track the referrals generated, so that you can see, is this resulting in the outcome that I'm looking for. Now, the way that we're going to walk through this, my light just shut off. I'm not sure what happened there. There we go. The way that we're going to do this, you're not going to generate the referrals most likely on the call. The point of the call is just to pre-train the person to send you the referrals at the right time. So keep that in mind. While we want to track the referrals generated, it's not going to be something that you're doing on the phone call. I mean, it might happen. If it does, great. But really, we're setting you up for future success. Does that make sense, Mac?
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. And, my mind kind of goes to leveraging challenges in Sisu as well. Right. So, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here because we need to have the excuses for the outreach, and, whether we want to create a challenge around the activity in terms of outreach, or, challenge around referrals generated from that. Both could be good, right? It kind of depends on which way you want to go. But, if you're a team leader, that should be a consideration as well. Really ramp up the activities to attempt to generate more referrals this holiday season, because again, it's important to hit the ground running in 2023 as well.
And I'm with you. I mean, it's important to me to track both, but in terms of setting challenges and getting people into the right action, we can control our own actions. We can control our own output. We can't control the number of referrals generated. We can control the amount of effort that we put into it. So all things being equal, in four disciplines of execution, which is like, I think the holy grail Bible of Sisu in terms of alignment there. Really, we talk about the concept of lead measures versus lag measures, and whenever possible, you really want to emphasize those lead measures in order to make sure that that you're influencing those lag measures. And so referrals generated is going to be a lag measure. It's something that happens as a result of effort that you did somewhere else. So let's make sure that we're pushing on that effort on the front end, and with that in mind, we got to have our way of doing this effort, because again, we can't just call people up and say, hey, you got any referrals? Well, you can, But you're probably going to burn a number of bridges in the process and not get the result that you're looking for. So that's what we're covering in our next step, about how we do these phone calls in a way that feels cool, that people are actually excited to hear from us, rather than having people feel like they're getting hassled every time that you're calling them, right? So and that's what we do here is creating an excuse for outreach. And I love this because for a number of people, they're always looking like they struggle with this idea. They know that they need to be calling their past clients and they need to be calling their friends and family, but a lot of people struggle with, like, I know I need to do that, but how do I do that? Is that something that you've seen as well, Mac?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the mental hurdle of, trying to reach out to your sphere, your friends, your family to discuss real estate. People, I've seen a lot of talks given about how to do that, but ultimately having something to offer and present to them and share with them, that's of value is going to give you confidence that you're not just trying, maybe wasting their time or blurring the lines of business and friendship or family. You're coming to them with an offer, and you're more inclined to make those calls and activities, right?
Exactly. And this is an important point to me, not just on making these phone calls, but I leverage this concept when it comes to emails. I leverage this concept for everything, right? I always want to start a conversation and make the excuse for reaching out being something that the people on the other end are happy to receive whenever possible, right? Like you want it to be something that you're training people to expect. When I hear from this person, it's a good thing, right? Like it's something that improves my life, that it adds joy or value or something. And then you set yourself up so that people want to hear from you, that they want to answer the phone, they want to respond to your emails, they want to connect with you. And so whenever possible, you lead with that. And the holiday season is like, it's like the epicenter of options to create these excuses to reach out. There's just so much stuff that you can do that makes it easy to have a good excuse to reach out to people. So we don't even have this on the list here, but like literally it could be as simple as you're calling to wish them a happy holiday.
Yeah.
Right? Like it could be as simple as saying, hey, it's that time of year, you're on my mind, it's the holidays, I just wanted to call you, say that I'm grateful for the business that we've had in the past, and that, like, you could do that, and that works great this time of year, right?
And honestly, that alone is probably powerful enough to, create some sort of emotional reaction from the person you're calling. Like, oh wow, they just won't call and wish me, happy holidays. I genuinely appreciate that. But why not supercharge it?
Exactly. Let's add some heat. Let's throw another log on the fire and get that Yule log burning bright, right? So what are the other options? Or we've got a few examples here. So, excuse me. A great way to have a good excuse to reach out to people is to host some sort of event, right? Whether that's a holiday party for your past clients, your VIPs, your friends and family, New Year's event, whatever. Any sort of event is a great reason to reach out, because you get the excuse of, hey, I am calling to invite you to this cool party. We're going to have these things. There's going to be good food. There's going to be music. There's going to be whatever, right? You have a great thing to invite them to. It's awesome. A lot of people business, they think that these types of events, that you measure the success based on how many people come. And that's part of it. It's good to get people to come. It's good to have people there. Getting those in-person connections is good. But they miss the fact that an event is a perfect excuse just to call everybody that you've ever had contact with that might be a good fit to come to the event. And that contact is actually drastically more important than the event itself, in my opinion, because it's that continual repetitive outreach, top of mind awareness kind of marketing. And again, it's one of those things, nobody's upset that they're getting called to be invited to an awesome event. Right.
It's the lead measure, lag measure thing, right? You can't control someone's schedule or willingness to attend the party, even, it's but you are, taking actions to make a very pointed outreach to them to attempt a conversation, right? And you have something great to share.
Exactly. So it's a perfect excuse to reach out. Another great thing that you could do is you could put together some sort of giveaway, whether it's just holiday themed or actually, I know Mac, when we were collaborating on this, you actually had some ideas for somebody who does a giveaway. I forget the name of the team. I had it in my notes, but they do
Ooh,
a giveaway for referrals, and it's related to like a trip or something. Do you recall that?
yes, I believe it was the Neil team,
Right.
and they do a, how to describe it? It's like a raffle essentially for a like fully paid vacation trip. So
Nice.
anyone that's referred, some business to them over the course of this past year is entered. I don't know exactly how they facilitate that,
Right.
or if they, confine it within a specific time period. But, taking that idea and concept of like, that's a big, super attractive giveaway,
Absolutely.
how do we, maybe we drum up something like that, because I'd assume a single closing from that is going to more than pay for the cost of actually paying for someone's trip. And what that looks
Exactly.
like, you'll have to decide, right?
Right. And again, these are designed to be ideas, inspiration, not necessarily the whole, the whole step-by-step plan. So anybody watching, you might need to do a little bit more research and formulate some of your own ideas on how to do this. But for something
Yep.
like that, like even calling and reaching out, you may not call and reach out and say, hey, we're doing a giveaway. If you give us a referral, you get entered into this raffle. You may not do it that way. You may prompt it in a way that feels more like, hey, it's the time of year, people are getting together, and I have found in the past that this is a time where our clients often send us referrals because they're naturally having conversations with friends and family. And just as a way to add some more fun to that process, we're doing a giveaway where whoever sends referrals, whether the results in business or not, whoever sends somebody our way, you're going to get entered into a giveaway that we're doing for this awesome trip, right? And so that sort of takes the pressure off where you're saying, hey, I'm calling to let you know about this,
Yeah.
but I'm also setting it up to sort of say this is sort of already happening, right? It's like I'm not saying, hey, give me a referral. I'm saying I sort of assume you're already going to do this because people are already doing it, right? Um, and that sets it up to feel a little bit less like hey, I'm bribing you for referrals. So yeah, you could work on your script if you sort of dial something like that in and make that outreach really hit home and feel good. One of the other giveaway, the other kinds of things that I really love this time of year, again, holiday season, people are surrounded with friends, family. They're looking for things to do. You got your out of town in-laws coming in, looking for something to do in the area, looking for ways to share time as a family. One of the things that my family has always enjoyed doing is going around and checking out like different holiday light displays, right? Where I grew up, there's a whole part of the city where like all of the houses in this subdivision community, they put on like these massive light displays, some of them with music, and it was literally like people would drive in from one end and sort of drive through that part of the city and then drive out the other end, and it was set up for this, right? Anyway, with that in mind, there's almost always in any given area people that like go all out for the holidays, right? Like they have an awesome light display with music, with special effects, and it's only getting more extreme as time goes on. So what better way to connect with your past clients in a holiday themed way than to put together a map that actually says, hey, here are the great places to go and experience these light displays in our community, right? And as a result, you do a number of things. For one, you get to be part of their memories for the holiday season. And I don't know if you guys understand the psychological benefit that gets in terms of how you are positioned in their in like in their psyche, but being part of the joy of the holidays is very powerful to say the least.
Yeah.
And so they get to associate you with all of the good feelings and things about creating joy and laughter and awesome experiences in the holidays. But further, it's a great excuse to reach out and say, hey, we put together this thing and love to send it to you. That part's pretty simple. But even aside from that, doing the work for this is also a great way to generate leads. I mean, that's outside of the topic of this webinar, but this asset is also a great way to generate leads because it shows that you're a local area expert. Again, it showcases you being connected to the great experience of the holidays. In terms of strategy, I love the holiday lights map. It is the lurking strategy that people don't take advantage of for sure.
Makes me think of that Trans-Siberian Light Orchestra
Right
light show that's been circulating around the internet. Like some guy, I don't know where it is, he just has that massive light display that plays some Trans-Siberian Orchestra song, and it's always just mind-blowing. You're like, dang, that power bill is going to be out of control.
Absolutely. And what's awesome is like especially in big enough like metro areas, there's almost always somebody who does something like that. Right. And so if you can point people to where they can experience something like that locally, yeah, like, man, it's game over. People love that stuff.
Someone sent me where to find that here in Charleston right now, I would be so thankful.
I know.
So if anyone's listening from Charleston, send me that holiday lights map. I'm all over it. I'll send you a referral, no doubt.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, that's another great example. Honestly, the whole idea here, though, this isn't designed to be exhaustive, right? Hopefully this is enough ideas to get you started, to give you some ways to leverage this so you can get into action quickly, start making those outreaches, and seeing how you could leverage this time of year as a great excuse to reach out and then have some of these conversations. In just a second, we'll give you the script for how this transforms into, let me start with value, into turning it into referrals. But the key idea here, find excuses to reach out. Find excuses that'll make your sphere of influence excited to hear from you, and come up with your own creative ways to do so and leverage it. And honestly, I know we're all ears. If you guys have ideas, if you have other things that you're doing or that you found success in, I think that's a great thing to share in the mastermind, especially of what you do this time of year to connect with clients, to connect with past clients and your sphere. And it could be a great help to everybody as well to be able to leverage this kind of strategy. So let's go ahead and dive in. I love this picture that I put with this one because like all the pictures are holiday themed, right? So I got like the Santa peeking in through the window, like he's detecting the good referrals. But here's the idea for how we transition from we're calling about something cool into turning it into an opportunity for referrals. So the basic idea is you're gonna start the process. You're gonna reach out with hey, here's why I'm calling, insert cool thing, give them the details, etc. And then you're gonna transition. You're gonna wrap up the conversation. You're gonna end the conversation on this note, where you're gonna set them up to understand how they could give you referrals, get them listening for it, and does a few things. It reminds them that they're important to you. It reminds them that that you would be honored if they send people your way with real estate questions. And notice, I say real estate questions and not people who are specifically looking to do a real estate deal yet. That's an important point because most people start their real estate journey in terms of whether they're going to buy, whether they're going to sell. They don't start by thinking, I'm going to buy a house, I need an agent. I'm going to sell my house, I need an agent. They start by asking questions. They start by asking questions like, what are some questions that you think come up, Mac?
Gosh, what are the schools like, in this area, geez, I don't even know. Cost of living, right? The list goes on. But
people ask things like, they might even ask like they come and visit a friend or family, like, man, what do houses go for in this area, right?
Yeah,
like what does that look like? Like, shoot, if they happen to be specifically thinking real estate, they might be thinking, man, I don't even know where to get started to get a mortgage. I don't know what I qualify for right now. Or like they have these questions that pop up. Most often it's things like life changes, like I just got a new job. I'm super excited about it. It's going to give us a big raise. It's going to allow us to make some upgrades. And those are things, those are signals that start to say, hey, major life changes could be a good time to start considering real estate, right? And so we want to train our clients to detect these kinds of things so that when those are relevant, when they could be of help, that they could send them your way. Okay. The biggest reason why people don't do this in terms of making those connections and reaching out to you is because most people will feel like the question is too unimportant and you are too busy, right? They'll happily send you a referral if they're like, oh, hey, I've got a client for you. I think they're going to do business, right? Like that feels like a win. They're like, I understand the connection here. I give them a client. They're going to be happy about it. My friend is going to be happy about the level of service. Those kinds of connections are easy, but that's not where they generally start. And so we want to make sure that people understand that you are comfortable fielding those initial questions, because those initial questions are what ultimately create the relationship that turns into a client, right? So we want to make that very clear. And in a second, I'll show you the script for how we can set that up, how we could train that.
Right, Zach.
Go ahead.
And just to kind of go back to the idea of when does this journey begin in terms of, buying or selling, right. Those questions that you have about it, where do people usually go to have their answers or their questions answered nowadays? They pull up their phone, open Google, type it in there. You're right. Trying to get ahead of that point and be the person that they go to answer that question, because otherwise, we all know how lead generation works in the industry now. That's right. Going to be distributed to, whoever's paying Google for AdWords. So, you're trying to get in between that moment of, having that question answered by, someone else potentially, right? Because they're going to, exactly. If they have a question, someone's going to have it answered.
Exactly. And so what we're training them to do is to understand that, shoot, any of us, man, if I have a question about like what's going on in Sisu, I know the people in Sisu that I could reach out to ask questions of. I'm not going to Google it, because it's a better experience to actually talk to a person who knows what they're talking about rather than trying to go and do the research, right? And so similarly, you want to make it clear to your past clients, your sphere, your friends, your family. You want to make it clear that you want to be considered that kind of resource. You want them to know, I'm not too busy to answer these questions. I love answering these questions. I love helping people with this kind of information, right? That way they know, oh, great. Yeah. I mean, that's drastically better than forcing somebody to go and try and look up costs in the neighborhood and look up school zones and try and review reviews and all. It's drastically better if they can connect to a person. And so by doing this, by setting them up the right way with the script that I'm about to show you, it actually activates their RAS, the reticular activating system. It's the same part of your brain that when you get a new car, you start noticing that same car all around you, right? Because your brain is tuned to that car, so you start to see it everywhere. It's not because there was magically more of them, it's because your brain is tuned to it. And so when we tune their brain to detect these referral opportunities for you, people are going to start seeing them more, right? We're going to create that awareness in their mind so that they see them more and thus make those connections. And then finally, the last part about this script is that we want to make sure that they have clear next steps. What do they do when they detect a good referral, right? So that's everything that we're accomplishing in the script. Let's go ahead and dive in to what that might sound like. Now, this is not intended to be an exact copy paste. You just flow through this script. This is something that you want to think through. You want to internalize. You might adapt to the way that you would say this. But here's an example of how you might transition that end of the conversation. So you just wrapped up. You're saying, hey, we got this event going on. I'd love to have you. We got all these great things. And then you end by saying, I know that during this time of year, most people are spending more time with friends and family. And sometimes in those conversations, people bring up changes about their housing needs or changes about their life. Maybe they got a new job. Maybe they just had a kid. And I want to let you know that I'd be honored if you consider me as a resource that you can use to help answer questions, no matter how small. Yes. About the real estate market, buying, selling, mortgage financing, really anything related to the real estate world that might help you or the people that you care about. I'm always happy to help important clients like you with this kind of information at no charge. and I extend that to whoever's important to you as well. So feel free, if you hear from somebody that is having these kinds of questions, give them my information, pass my information along, let them know to contact me, and let them know to tell me that you sent them. Right? You flow something like that, and you set them up to understand, okay, when I hear these questions, when I hear these kinds of things, I know that I can help that person by connecting them to my favorite real estate agent, my real estate resource, right? And that's what we do here. So we end with this, and that puts them in the mental framework of understanding, okay, I know how to detect those opportunities, so I'm going to be looking for them. I'm going to understand them. I know that the person that I'm talking to right now is glad and excited to help. So it's going to be a good transfer both for the person that I'm referring and the person that's receiving it. And then finally, I know exactly what to do. I know, give them the contact information, pass that along so that they can reach out. And that's what I do. And so we set them up all sorts of wins here. They know that they're important. They know their friends and family are important. They know that you're a resource, you're available. They know how to detect those referral opportunities, and they know exactly what to do next. So that's kind of the script there. What do you think of that, Mac?
Yeah, and almost most importantly to me that, by really emphasizing no matter how small those questions might be,
Right.
You're really indicating that there's no bothering you, right? Because it's so critically important just to have that opportunity to create that conversation,
Right.
and start to establish that rapport. And you've brought in someone new, into your database effectively.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to the next one. So this is just the overview again. So again, what we've covered here. So step one, the foundation of all of this. None of this happens unless you make a clear, concentrated effort to do those outreaches, right? And the best way to make sure that you're doing that is to track it, to see what you're doing, how many outreaches you've done, how many of these calls that you've made. Again, I recommend you get started on this sooner rather than later, because these conversations are going to start happening soon, right? We're at least maybe no more than a couple of weeks away from when these parties start happening, when these events start happening. You want to get in front of that if at all possible. So set those outreach goals in Sisu, get after them, start tracking them. And the way that we're going to do that outreach is we're going to create some sort of excuse. Again, there's no excuse for you not to do this, because at the simplest level, you could call and just wish them a happy holiday, right? Like that. It could be as simple as that. But these other ideas could be a great way to really make sure that outreach goes well. Holiday light map, giveaways, events, anything. You may already be doing some of these things, right? Just leverage them and use them as an opportunity to reach out early, to get those contacts made. And then finally, we leverage that end of the call script, that concept, to train our people how to detect good referrals. And the way that we do that is by setting them up to understand a good referral is anyone who has questions, right? Anyone that's asking questions, because questions are inherently opportunities, right? When you are the source of the answer to those questions, the connection that's made there is super powerful for ultimately becoming the person who can solve the problem down the road of actually helping them buy the house, actually helping them sell the house, those sorts of ideas. So that's the idea there. Those are our 3 steps. What do we think of our 3 steps there, Mac?
It's as simple as can be, Zach.
Simple as can be. There you have it.
So
now that we've gone through and showed you guys how to leverage the holiday season to generate some referrals, really the inspiration of doing this webinar was that Mac put together something awesome for the Sisu Nation, for the Sisu community, to be able to reward and just shower awesomeness upon you, because again, this time of year, not only are people having conversations with friends and family, I know real estate associations, your brokerages, all of these people, you're also likely getting together and having these conversations, talking to agents in your area, talking to agents in your network. And it's a great opportunity to be finding those people that could be a really great fit for Sisu. And as a result of that, we wanted to make sure that there's a way to reward you. So Mac put together this awesome promotion for the end of the season here, called Sisu's 12 days of referrals. And with that, I will turn it over to Mac to introduce you to this program.
Awesome. Thanks, Zach. Yeah. So, we wanted to be cognizant of the fact that, we get so much of our business through recommendations from our clients that have implemented CISU at a high level, that are seeing massive value in their business. And to me, those of you that, that are doing extremely well with CISU and seeing the benefits, we want to make sure that y'all have a good opportunity to be rewarded for being an advocate. And so I started to think through, what can we do to maybe just reward our folks that are sending people our way. When I start to look at what's coming through on our end and the sources of them, so many of the times it says friend or so and so, there's no real attribution, so I don't actually know who that came from. So
Right.
I wanted to get ahead of it a little bit and just create an easy way for y'all to recommend someone to us, but more importantly, say thank you for doing so, right? So 3 ways that we're going to do that. It's kind of a tiered system, right? We started to look at our inventory of swag with my colleague Francis, and we've got a lot to end the year here. So I wanted to make sure that I'm treating anyone that submits a referral to us just get some CISU swag. We'll be working on what the package looks like. But again, we only need a name, email, phone number, nothing else. That's all. We'll send you some CISU swag as a thank you. And our team will then go to work trying to make sure they're qualified and a great fit for us, right? So from there, the rewards get a little bigger and better, but they are going to be dependent on them signing up. So a little bit of the lead lag measures that we talked about earlier, Zach, right? So,
Exactly.
the more people you submit, the greater your opportunities increase for 2 and 3 here. So if a referral signs up for CISU, we're going to let you take your pick. If you want a complimentary ticket to a CISU mastery workshop, which we're hosting here in January, runs around $1,000. I think there is a promo right now for maybe a 30% discount. I'd have to take a look, but still not an insignificant chunk of change. It's an incredible event. It really helps you dial your CISU game up even further too. So think of that as a win-win. You submit someone to us for us to reach out to, they end up moving forward. You get a free ticket to make CISU even better in your business. If not that and the timing doesn't work, looking a little further out, we have our conference Rain in September 2023. And again, if those dates don't work, happy to work with you and see what we can do to come in there. And then the other thing, if you manage to get 3 people that you referred that sign up, we will complimentarily, is that a word? Complimentarily? No, I'm having a hard time, Zach.
I think it's something close to where I think people get the idea. So you get a complimentary upgrade
to Premier. Thank you. I'm having a hard time today, man. I appreciate you having
That's
my
all right. We're here with you. We're in this journey together. We got our hot cocoa. We got the fire roaring. We're good. Everything's breezy.
It's the sweater and beanie. I'm overheating. No, but basically, for those, a lot of folks are on our essentials package, which is sort of our legacy product. And frankly, Premier has so much more to offer with our client portal. Account management alone is generally worth the cost of upgrade. And usually, at a bare minimum, the annual price difference is $1,300. So it's a significant savings here for you to test out and play around with Premier. If you're already on Premier and you're submitting people, what we'll do instead is just provide you a discount, with that price difference considered there. So potentially like months, your next few months of CISU covered by having a few people sign up and move forward with CISU. So kind of a lofty goal there, some dependencies on our team to actually get them across the board here. But again, the more that you all submit, the more you do that. And then for those of you that do a good job with this or are CSU ambassadors, we obviously will take care of you that way. And if you have any questions about, becoming a CSU ambassador in the long run, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to get you the details there and how to get signed up. But
tell me a little bit more about the ambassador program. So is that like an affiliate thing? Is that what's the ambassador program?
Yeah, that's
for
exactly
anybody listening that may not be familiar.
right. So the CSU ambassador program, we do have an application that people fill out. And it's basically a way to continue to share the CSU love as the year goes on. So, we will bring you into the program. There are other rewards through that. So, definitely just let me know if you have questions about that. There are some other asks on occasion, such as maybe a reference call or a testimonial Zoom recording or something like that to help with a case study. Basically we're looking for those people that are just huge fans of CSU and see the value in their business. And I know that there are plenty of you out there that I don't know yet that I want to know. So
absolutely.
Yeah, just don't hesitate to reach out and, I'll be happy to talk more about that. I love talking about our ambassador program.
Perfect. So how does this work? We covered it a little bit for anybody who maybe missed the details.
So the link is there here at the bottom of this deck here. I'll drop it in the comments as well on our little live stream in the group. And on that page, it again recaps the details that I shared earlier. And then there's also a form, and that form, when you submit it, it attributes it to you, as the referrer. So we know that it came from you, and then our team receives that on the back end and will then reach out to work on qualifying them and trying to bring them on board as a new member of the CSU Nation. So it's pretty straightforward, gang. And just genuinely appreciate y'all just being thoughtful of people that might be a good fit. We're always on the hunt for people that might be receiving value from CSU in their business. So
right. And one clarification, just in case there's any confusion. That's the word that I'm looking for.
Thank you for showing solidarity with me there, Zach. And
absolutely. So yeah, one point of clarification here. So while it's called the 12 days of referrals promotion,
yes,
the referrals for this promotion are accepted anytime through the end of the year. I think kind of the way that we're thinking of the 12 days. So first off, there's obviously the 12 days of Christmas. But secondly, we're going to be kind of leveraging the next 12 days, the next couple of weeks, to be sharing ideas, information, both in the mastermind as well as via email about referral generation, just to help you leverage these ideas, help you implement them. So just be looking for that. That's kind of where that goes. But the referrals themselves, they're accepted anytime through the end of the year. So don't feel like after that 12 days you need to stop. And then further, referrals are always welcome, right? So this is just a fun promotion as a way to sort of celebrate and end out the year with these specific prizes. But like Mac was mentioning, that ambassador program can be a great way to see value from those referrals regardless. So keep the magic going year round. All of that's great. But yeah, and then like we just to reiterate, the emphasis here, referrals do not have to convert for you to get something out of it. So even if you're not sure if they are going to for sure sign up or whatnot, feel free to send them to the CSU team through that form, and you still get swag regardless of if they sign up. It's only for those higher level prizes that they have to sign up in order for you to see those. So keep that in mind. Any referral is welcome. I know I can speak on behalf of myself, and I know the CSU team. And anytime a referral is sent, it is such an honor to be trusted with that kind of social capital. Because even just sending the name, the email, that means that you're trusting CSU with saying, hey, I think you are valuable enough that it's worth me putting this name in your field of view, and we think that you will be able to bring value there. So that's a big vote of confidence, and we appreciate it anytime that happens. And so we wanted to make sure to reward that, even if it doesn't convert, because the point
Yeah, right.
is that.
And kind of tying it into the whole topic of this, not even necessarily whether, Sisu would be a good fit, but maybe just like if someone has questions or expresses some challenges around accountability with their agents,
Right.
Bloated staffing to, because of maybe a redundant back end process for managing transactions,
Right.
Too many systems, and the amount that people are paying, how to consolidate and drive down costs in that front. Those are kind of like the indicators, right, that might be a good referral of someone that maybe I should send this person to the Sisu team.
Right.
We work really hard to train our guys to be consultants on your business, more than just like, demo jockeys sharing Sisu, right?
Right.
So yeah, we try and just make sure we're doing a good job of understanding the challenges and prospective customers' businesses and trying to share ways in which they can overcome those challenges. So yeah, anyone and everyone is welcome. We love talking to folks and figuring out how we can help improve their real estate businesses.
Awesome. And kind of wrap up the earlier part. I know, I shared some scripts, I shared some ideas, some links and things. If you guys are looking for these slides, you're wanting the slides in order to reference and put this stuff into action, we will be dropping a PDF of this presentation for you to be able to download and use and have those scripts and whatnot for after the fact. And then further, stay tuned. I've actually, in the past, I've done a training on how to put together those holiday lights maps. It's possible we might drop that into the Facebook group as well, in order to set you guys up for success if you want to implement that idea. So again, 12 days of referrals. We want to make sure that we're not only leveraging this as an opportunity for you guys to be thinking about who might be a good fit for Sisu, who might be having those needs of consolidating software, of cutting costs, of being able to track or have better accountability, and thus create better results with their team, their real estate business. So not only that, but we want to make sure that we're eating our own dog food and giving you guys value in the process, right? So yeah, that's so you'll get these slides, and then stay tuned in the Facebook group and via email. We'll continue to try and provide value and give you guys cool stuff over the next couple of weeks. And then I think finally, I'm throwing this up there just in case there are any questions. I know we covered a lot. I don't know how readily, do you have the Facebook group up? I think you do.
I do, Zach. The surprise live. I think we've caught everyone off guard. The only comment is from Francis. She says, "We look great. Thanks, Francis. We tried our best. We love you."
And so on that note, then, for this slide, if you guys have any questions about this, I am in the Facebook group. Mac, you're in the Facebook group as well. Feel free to tag me, Zach Hammer, or Mac, if you notice a question that's relevant to me that I missed. Feel free to tag me or point me toward it. If you review this after the fact and you have any questions about implementing anything that we talked about, whether it's about the 3 steps to generating referrals this holiday season, or whether it's about the 12 days of referrals, the Sisu holiday promotion, feel free, reach out to us with any questions. We would love to either get you the information that you need or get you answers to those questions and help make sure that you're able to have success or know what you need to know.
Absolutely, Zach. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for your time, my friend. Really appreciate you coming in to share value with our community here. It means a ton. And looking forward to seeing you all put some of this stuff to work and generate a ton of referrals for your business.
Absolutely. Everybody, I hope you have a happy holiday. And even more than that, let's leverage it to get some referrals, eh?
Love it, y'all. Happy holidays, Sisu Nation. We'll see y'all soon. Bye, Zach.